It's Kurt, and I wanna for a quick for a quick minute go over my process of coming out as trans and some questions you can ask yourself if you're a trans person and you don't know whether or not to get onto hormones because I for a very long time did not go on to hormones because I was very against hormones and now I am on hormones. So I just want to talk a little bit about that mindset change and how I got there and why I didn't want to go on hormones for a long time, and maybe it'll ring true for other trans people and you might be able to ask the same questions that I asked and get to where I got, or ask the same questions that I asked and get to a different place. Um, that's fine too. So when I came out, it took me a very long time to find transness as something that was okay for me to embody. When I first realized that I was trans, I went to my friend and I said, I'm the thing that everyone hates. I was very scared to be trans because, in my mind, it was the worst thing one could possibly be because society was not ready for transness and it wasn't going to get ready for transness and me being trans. Um, so I was very against it. So I came out as a chick with a dick first, and then people started to push me towards non-binary. I said chick with a dick because to me I was still feminine, but I had a dick, and there was no denying that part. Um, so then people started to push me towards non binary, but why non binary didn't feel right was because there was no way for me to be a non binary male. I was forced into this, my sex is female, you are non binary though. So in my mind, if people were to call me non binary, I would be non binary with the vagina instead of non binary with the penis in their mind. It was very important for my penis to be the in in their minds when they were thinking about me. And from my perspective, this is all from my perspective. So then I started to come out. Then I started to identify as a trans male drag queen, and I did that for a while, and it seemed to work. But then Gottmik came out, and he was dragging, and he knew how to do a whole bunch of makeup and strut the runway, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm that talented. I don't think I can claim myself as being a drag queen. I don't do that. So I took a step away from drag queen for a while until I can figure out how to do makeup correctly and all of that shit. And instead, I just said, I'm just gonna be a trans man. So I started to identify as a trans man. But then when I came out as a trans man, I started to have to dissect what it meant to be male because I had already gone on this long journey to figure out who I was. In my mind, I had come to my destination. I'd realized I was a trans man. I started to embody it. I changed my name. I changed my pronouns. All of these things, and I didn't really get medical transition because in my mind I had already gotten here. It was a long journey. I'd already been myself. I'd been myself all of my life. There was no point where I wasn't a male. So in my mind, it didn't make sense to transition because I was already a male. I was already it. There's nothing that you could do to me to make me more male because I was already a male. It took me a while to even change my pronouns and change my name because of that. Because in my mind, my birth name is me. My cis supremacist name is the name that they made me take in order to appear more masculine, and I did it off of people that I admire, but I really think one day I will go back to my birth name because it means banana in Hindi and I really love it. But right now we are under a cis supremacist state, so I must go by the cis supremacist name of Kurt. After Kurt Cobain, Kurt Vonnegut, Kurt Gödel. And Alan is my middle name after Alan Turing and Alan Watts. Um, those are the names I decided to go by because I had to choose male names, masculine names. in order to be a male. So anyway, I had done all that, and those were things that I could do quickly and automatically gain my manhood. There was no waiting a significant amount of time and all of that. I could just be me already. And that was my big problem with taking meds, because in my mind, I couldn't be me. I was waiting to become me after puberty hit. It would take time, and I had already gotten all this way. I was already a male, couldn't become anything else. I was already a seahorse, could maybe become a unicorn, but I didn't really feel like I could really transition to anything logically because I was already a male. So I was very against the prospect of transitioning because I was pissed that I had waited. If I started a transition, I had already waited a year, and then I was going to have to wait some more for me to be a real man after puberty hit. And I didn't want to wait anymore. I was already 22. I needed it to, or 23, and I needed to be myself already. I was also very against doctors, so the fact that doctors were actually giving us our meds scared me, because I was like, maybe they just want us to look like a cis man when really I'm a trans man. And I've found ways to look like a trans man even in my transition to identify as a trans man. I was very afraid of only being perceived as a cis man and blending into the crowd. Didn't want to do that. So anyway, I didn't medically transition for a long time. I started to lose my mind, because I just did. And I finally realized, well, maybe testosterone could be something that I could go on that could make my mind better. So that was really what pushed me over the edge. I was like, maybe this is what I'm missing. Maybe this is what I need in order to get my mind right. And in a way, testosterone has helped me get my mind to a place that's much better. Before testosterone, I was crying in corners like every day. Now I'm much more confident, and I don't cry in corners every day. So I'm able to express anger because all of my anxiety stems from my inability to express anger, and I don't know where to put it. So I just turned it into anxiety and crying in corners. And with testosterone, instead of crying in corners when I'm angry, instead I'm able to express anger in a way that I deem somewhat healthy. So without testosterone, I wouldn't have that. But I ended up taking it. And the question that I asked myself that made me like, this is something that you need to try, Kurt, is I asked myself, if I had been allowed to get the proper puberty at the proper time, like male puberty during my puberty, would I have done it? And my answer to that was hell yes. There's no way I wouldn't have done it, because then in that case I would have always been a trans man. I would have had to wait just as long to get my puberty and achieve manhood as everyone else. So when I asked myself that question, if I could have gotten the right puberty at the right time, would I have gotten male puberty, like if I could have chosen? And when I said yes, that was the cue to me to maybe get the right puberty late. Even though it sucks that now I have to wait all of this time and I already missed my puberty. I can't do anything about it now. Let's try it out late. So I ended up doing that, but it still feels like I'm still pissed that I'm not me, or I am me, but I'm still pissed that I was denied the opportunity to embody myself as a kid and not to pretend to be people that I wasn't. That still pisses me off, but I can't get that time back. I can only get the time that I have left back. And taking hormones was a step for me to claim who I was. And like at first, like I said, I got on it purely for mind things, but changing my voice changed and just my like hips fitting, like the male structure, all of those things have made me more confident and enabled me to speak out more on like platforms like this and just in life, like be okay with who I am. So I think in the end, all the changes that came with testosterone, I'm pretty happy with. Now, I do sometimes blend into the crowd as a cis person more now, and I don't love that. But I think I'm at least read as queer still. So, um, I mean, I'm pretty happy. I stay inside, indoors. Um, I haven't really been myself around multiple people, and COVID's to blame for that and other things. But once I get out and about again, I think I'll be really happy that I medically transitioned and decided to extend my journey in finding myself. I was really against the term transition at first because, like I said, what am I going to become? I already am a man, but now I feel privileged to have the opportunity to call my life a transition, um, because I think everyone is transitioning, and to put the word transition on it and to be like, yes, I'm changing, but I'm just becoming better. I think that's a privilege to be able to have the opportunity to say that because it allows you to change when they're trying to put you into boxes all of your life. It allows you to say, hey, this is the box I'm currently embodying, but it is not the box that I'm always going to be in because I'm going to grow out of this box. Because we're all transitioning to new boxes. Um, you know? So I kind of like the word transition, although I wish that they would like make everyone say that they're transitioning because it's kind of like makes me mad that it undermines my manhood to say that mine's a transition when cis manhood isn't, even though it is. Um, but anyway, I just would rather call my transition cis supremacist second puberty. But I'm also privileged to be able to. The thing that I said. I'm trying to be okay with your words. They just piss me off sometimes. But it's okay. It's not you, it's me. Um, so yeah. I hope maybe that question that I told you to ask yourself leads you to where you need to be. Um, you might still have to ask yourself some more questions. That was just the one that turned. I was like on the phone with my therapist and I was like started to cry. I was like, but it's too late for me. I already missed my puberty. And they were like, Kurt, you can still get your puberty. You're just gonna get it late. Just take your stupid fucking meds. So I did. And now I'm here. I'm pretty happy. I'm just afraid to interact with humanity, and people think that's weird. But I think it's fine. My therapist is fine with it. My cat loves it because I don't leave my house. My boss loves it because I focus mostly on work. You know, making some people happy. That's all life's about. Spreading kindness, like peanut butter. I have that written on my wall. Spread kindness like peanut butter. That's what it says.